Hello everyone. Today we are meeting to discuss on how we can do cloud accounting using QuickBooks. In our last sessions, we had discussed about how we can be adaptable to change as digital accountant, because the future is to convert ourselves from traditional to digital. And one more important thing which I wanted to share with you is that we as accountant need to have an online presence. Now, online presence, when we talk about the whole idea of digital accountant is to have online presence, whether we talk about our profile, our personality, our firm getting online, doing accounting online, getting our team, managing our team online. So we need to be virtual and have an online presence where we are serving our client, we are getting our work done from our team, and we are processing work online. In this session today, we are going to learn about how we can do accounting, all the accounting process which we used to do through desktop over the cloud, and what's the difference between, working on desktop accounting versus cloud accounting. So as we all know, the entire world is on cloud today, and thanks to, I would say thanks to COVID and this pandemic situation, that, the mindset is getting developed. Every organization, every professionals have started thinking every organization started thinking to convert their business into cloud, go into cloud, move to cloud, because during the lockdown, what has happened is that those who had documents and accounting on their desktop or on their local server, they were actually out of business. They were not able to process bills, they were not able to record transactions, and they were just feeling that they are doing nothing. So that has created the mindset of we as professionals, that how we can make our client and how we can move our entire accounting process, our books, as well as our client's book onto cloud. Now, before talking about that, let's understand how this whole cloud functions. Now, many of you, when I discuss about cloud computing, they say that cloud computing is all about data stored on the internet. But think about the same. We had no Google Docs, no Gmail. We think of a world without Hotmail, Yahoo, Facebook, YouTube, Google Groups, Skype, like all of these things. We have never brought this software. We have never, developed this software, but we are totally dependent on these. And these are like software as a service, which you call a SaaS model, which are available to us either free of cost or at a very minimum subscription. That's the concept of cloud computing. When we talk about API, it is basically application protocol interface. Like if you go to yatra.com and if you are purchasing a ticket from Calcutta to Delhi or from Mumbai to Pune, you are going to yatra.com. Do you think that yatra.com is actually booking the ticket? They are just acting as a front end, and they are actually integrating an API with the IRCTC, and actually the booking the ticket from there. And what happens is that Yatra get a small little commission. So that API, which allows Yatra to give you real-time information about the availability of train, the number of seats left and all those things, actually not something which they had entered into their server. They're actually taking all the data from, IRCTC server and just displaying it to you. And when you make the payment, they get the commission and they pay it back to you. So this is the model which Amazon, Zomato, Uber, all these companies are working on. And that is only possible through cloud computing. The question comes, how can we use this cloud computing? How can we use this technology to create a successful accounting firm, a digital firm, a firm of digital accountants? Today we are going to learn how we can create that, and and actually get our entire records, our entire process and accounting online. So as I said, computing is not just about storing data on the internet. It's all about delivering hosted service over the internet, which means you are actually working on the cloud. Whether you talk about recording a video, doing your accounting, running your payroll, getting, paying your bills, anything which you do over the internet is cloud computing. So you use various tools and those tools are available to you on a SaaS model. So that's the power of computing on cloud, which means you're not having your data on your local machine. You don't have the application on your local machines. They all reside on cloud and you work on the cloud. Now, there's hundreds of benefits because this is something which we need to understand. And there may be a lot of questions about security. We will talk about that as well. But this is the time where we need to think about moving 100% to cloud, because cloud is offer thousands of benefits like productivity anywhere, offsite data storage, no maintenance cost, because there are thousands of companies who are actually using that same server, so the cost is divided into thousand organizations. Disaster, if there's any breakup, like say you are not able to go to your office, but you can still go to the cloud. What if there is a fire? What if there is a breakage? What if there's a ransomware? So all of these are 100 different issues where cloud offers a huge benefit. It's easily upgraded. It is the lowest cost of ownership, and it is always up because they keep backups, they keep mirroring server. So there are a host of different benefits. So, moving to cloud instead of working on your desktop. So cloud accounting, when we talk about specifically, like cloud computing is a bigger concept. Into that, one of the feature is cloud accounting. In cloud accounting, what happens is, your accounting process is on the cloud, which means you can access your company books. You can work on that, on the cloud. A very important question which comes is, what if I put up my, desktop software on the cloud and I access it over internet? Is that cloud accounting? I would say no. And I will explain to you in a few slides why there is a difference between a cloud accounting and doing accounting over a VPN connection. There's a huge difference between both the concepts. So if you see over here, like I'm just giving an example of Tally. Like let's say Tally has is installed in your desktop. Now, what you do is you move that Tally into a server and you access Tally from that server. That is a VPN process. That is not cloud accounting, because what happens is that the Tally desktop is still on that machine. You are just getting into that machine to work. But in cloud, what happens is that these are the benefits wherein you have live access to financial information, which means your bank is connected real time. Your entire payroll, they go and pull in data from the payroll server. They go and pull in data from the banking server. They go and pull in data from your credit card companies, from your GST software, GST server. So it actually sync. It allows and gives the possibility to sync with the servers and actually bring all the data together so that there is no manual process required by an accountant to do manual entries. I hope you understand. I'm going to try and explain this more in detail. But in cloud accounting, there is no requirement for an accountant to actually go and enter manual transactions. All of these can be downloaded or synced from the server, whether it is a bank, from the credit card, from payroll, all the info from the loan companies. It can go and you can sync those information directly into your accounting books, which means, let's say you have taken a loan from ICICI Bank. You don't need to go and manually pass a journal entry. It will automatically, sync with your loan company and will enter the transaction as a payment transaction, and it will also bifurcate the interest element of it. So it has the flexibility to work from any device, from anywhere in the world. It is beautiful, fast, customized, and it has got bunch of reports in future, if ever I get an opportunity, you can always go and see, how take a demo of, two good softwares like QuickBooks and Zoho. And we are going to talk a little more on that. It has the flexibility of sharing link of accounting software with stakeholders and consultants, which means your books, you can give access, whether you want to give a view access, you want to give a complete editable access, or you want to just show a few portion of that particular accounting to your stakeholders, to your consultants, to your auditors, or to your vendors if required. So you can divide what you want to show to them instead of pulling the reports, working on that report and sharing that report to them. you can actually show them the software with access controls, which means you don't want to show them, everything, or you don't want to give them all the permissions. So you can configure that the way you want. So it is amazing to, and the world is moving there. Like I'll give you an example. Like we have an office at EPJ House Park Street, and what happened in November, the entire office, the one office very close to us, broke into fire, and there were many fire tenders who were actually trying to save that, and we are all evacuated, and all the vehicles were stopped, the offices were closed. So we were working for more than 500 plus clients, and we were like just stopped. So it took us just an hour to just go back home and switch on our machine, switch on our laptop, and get started. Nothing got impacted because all our clients' accounts were on cloud. So we were able to do the real time data entry for them, and that's the beauty of cloud accounting. So it keeps your work going in every situation, as I just said. Natural calamities, disasters, when you're at holiday. So whatever the situation is, it keeps your work going in every situation. Just one sec. Now, what are the popular softwares? If you see over here, like I personally feel QuickBooks is actually the world's number one software. Like if you talk about anywhere where QuickBooks is basically taking over 70% of the market share across the world. But if you talk only about India, Zoho Books is doing an amazing job in this domain. There are many other softwares like Zero, Vepar, Busy, Logic. All of these are basically solutions of providing accounting on cloud, where you can do real-time transactions. You can just open it as a website. You can select the company you want. It comes as a link, and then you can look into the balance sheet, look into their profit and loss. And the windows of all the P&L, and we are going to talk about that, comes as a screen where there is no journal entry process. It's a single entry process where you're just entering the invoice, you're just entering the payment, and the back end transaction, back end journal entry happens automatically in the back end. So yes, the few important features that you don't find in desktop accounting vis-a-vis cloud accounting is the sync of bank, credit cards, loans, payroll, GST. So whatever you talk about, they have an open API, as I just discussed. With this API, you can actually get that connected to any. In fact, if you are looking for building a wonderful report, you can pull the data through an API from QuickBooks and can develop your own system, and you can develop your internal software according to that. So this entire cloud accounting process has an open API which can be integrated with anything wherever you want. It has a third party app integration, which means you, as I said, you can integrate this with FedEx, you can integrate this with PayPal, your payment gateway from Google Apps. So any apps which you want, you can sync that with. It has a power to set templates. Like you can create your own customized invoice, your own payment reminder. So you can customize things and you can schedule things, and that will go from these softwares. They have a data recovery model wherein you can recover your data anytime on an Excel or on a file, which can be imported or which can be pulled back into any of those software. So let's say you're working on QuickBooks and tomorrow you want to shift to Zoho or to any other cloud accounting software. It is possible. And there are many flexible pay options. As I said, cloud computing is all about subscription, which means you pay as you use, just like Uber. Like you are only paying for the travel time, the time you have taken for the travel from one destination to another destination. That's the only cost you pay. Similarly, in the cloud accounting also, you're only paying for that particular period for which you have used the service. So that's the beauty of flexible pay options. Like as I said, I'm just right now talking about QuickBooks. It has a global presence. It is all over the world. We do all the work for United States, Canada. It has presence in UK, France, Australia, Brazil, as well as in India. So you can take a call whether you want to shift between QuickBooks or Zoho. That's up to you. So QuickBooks is, like this is just a small demographics of how many companies are using QuickBooks. It is used for cloud accounting, for invoicing customers, for paying bills, for generating reports, for planning, for tax filing. In fact, you can, create a line item, each and every tax line items associated with your ledger, and with one click, you can print the entire tax information. And in fact, that can be imported into the tax software. So you just need to do few tweakings and your tax return process is done. Expense tracking. Now this is an interesting part which we are going to talk in the next slide, wherein let's assume you are going to a petrol pump and all of a sudden, you are purchasing a 2000 rupees petrol or fuel and you get an invoice. You just take a picture of that invoice and it will automatically get entered in your QuickBooks file or a Zoho file. And I'll show you how it happens. So financial reporting, as you said, looks like a dashboard where you can, configure it the way you want. You can set auto templates, which we call as a dashboard reporting. You can see, whether your cost of goods sold is, increased or decreased, your gross profit margin, compared with last year, last month, with budget, your expense. So you can see a complete demographics of your financials of how it is performing on a particular period, and you can compare that with any period. And you can keep that as a, you can save that for future purposes, so that you don't need to configure it every time, which means next month if you want to see this again, it automatically updates the whole data. So if you talk about Zoho, it supports 50 plus business reports to help us get better insight into our business performance. Like inventory, if you have a running organization, manufacturing organization, Zoho serves the best. They sync with the GST and they offer you bunch of reports. You see over here, they have if you talk about profit and loss, cash flow, balance sheet, sales by customer, sales by item. You can drill down to the lowest level and you can summarize the way you want. They have tax summary, GSTR, 3B summary. So you can, and if you see on the left, these reports, you can search report. The list is endless. Like it goes on and on. As I said, syncing of bank and credit card is the most important feature in cloud accounting. So as I was talking about this petrol, what happens is that that particular picture which you have taken, you upload that and it automatically, syncs that, goes and authorize and understand that this particular invoice is for this particular petrol pump. And if you have authorized that petrol pump, it automatically pays from your bank to that payment gateway and will enter it into your bank. And in the bank, as soon as it knows that this is a transaction, it gets pulled into your accounting software, which you see over here. All of these are pulled, and then you just need to, uh, add this into your transaction. So this is how you can immediately get your entire transactions enter into your bank account, and the reconciliation process is not manual. It happens, just with few clicks. So Zoho also does the same thing. It automates bank feeds and eliminates data entry and allows you to import all bank and credit card transactions and categorize those according to your bank rules. Now, what bank rule means is that you set up a bank a rule which says that if there's any payment made to, Calcutta Electric Supply Corporation, it should go to electricity expense. If any payment is going to Flurries, it is going to go to meals and entertainment. So it's kind of, you can make a rule for specific vendors or for specific customers, and as soon as the bank, when you pull the transaction from the bank and the bank sees that this particular transaction is happening and from this particular vendor, it automatically matches the GL code for that, and that makes our job much easy. And it also pulls and checks the history. So if we have coded a particular transaction in the past to a particular GL code, and if that same transaction is repeated in future, it automatically pulls the last history and show it to us for our confirmation. So imagine a situation, we have 400 transactions, it gets pulled from the bank into a single screen. We just review that and just fill in wherever the software is not able to find the GL code. We see everything together, the date, the vendor name, the GL code and the amount. We confirm that, we hit a button. So in just 5 minutes, we are able to post and reconcile more than 400 transactions at a single click. That's the beauty of accounting. And that's why I said continuously that it's very important, as a digital accountant to move and start thinking about shifting to cloud accounting. Wherein if you see over here, again, if I show you the bank rule setup, this is what has happened. Like in this particular case, this Max Soda vending was matched to Mills and Entertainment. So as soon as you do these actions and you say, okay, it pulls up everything. So this is an open source where you can upload file. You can create an Excel of 100 different items, upload, and all the transactions gets imported and enters. So you can do the way you want to increase efficiency, increase accuracy, and reduce your manual effort. As I said, templates. So you can design as many templates as you want for your invoice purposes, for your proposals, for your payments, for your reminders, and it will go as an email. It will sync. So you can, create a template. So you cannot think all of these possibilities in a desktop accounting. In desktop accounting, it's all about recording journal entries. But here you are actually running your business, a complete business through cloud accounting. Recurring transactions. Now, this is very interesting. Now, what happens is, let's say you are paying rent every month. You are paying, certain payroll which are fixed. There are certain expense and certain, invoices also, incomes which are recurring in nature. Now, you don't want to enter that manually every month. So you can set up a recurring transactions. And what happens is that these transactions get posted. Either you can schedule that to be posted on a monthly basis automatically, or by giving you a reminder and you confirm it. So you can schedule it the way you want, but then you don't need to remember it or manually enter it. It happens automatically by the software. That's the power of recurring transactions. And as I said, the balance sheet process, it allows you not just to reconcile your banks or your credit cards, you can reconcile almost all the balance sheet items. Talk about loans, talk about, notes payable. So you can reconcile whatever you want on your balance sheet items through this cloud accounting software, definitely through QuickBooks. So you can, send estimates. As I said, it's basically a mini ERP. You can, send estimates to your clients. You can convert that into invoices and get that paid. And you can design all this. We see over here, there are options to, create sales orders, delivery challans, receive payments, set up recurring invoices, create notes, purchases, do time tracking, so GST filing. So a complete process of accounting transaction. And again, all this process, most of that 80% of the part or 90% of the part is done because they all sync and the data already has been bought into the books. You just need to review that, make sure that everything is under control, and you hit the payment. Now, batch transactions, if you see over here, so you can, enter, email, or print multiple transactions at the same time in QuickBooks, which means, let's say, as I said, in the batch transaction, you want to import transaction from another software or from an Excel file, you can import in batch. And if you want, you can, print multiple transactions, email transaction, apply a certain action over that. If you see over here, you can print a packing slip for the transaction which you want in a bulk. So you can select a bunch of transactions and you can hit one single button. It will print all the packing slip for them. You can send a bunch of transactions to a particular person. And so all these things are very much required. The entire purpose, the way it is designed, is to save time, save time. And that's what we need to do today in this pandemic situation, wherein we need to prove to our clients how efficient we are, how much better control we have, and how better we can work as a digital accountant. And by utilizing these tools like QuickBooks or Zoho to make our accounting much efficient and much economical. Payables, as I said, from vendor bills to expense, we can know where money is going, and hence it makes our managing payables easy. See, you can create vendors expense, you can set up recurring expense, you can create purchase orders, you can see the bills, and you can set up recurring bills, vendor credit. As I said, these bills, whatever you have, you can go through the entire process of accounts payable management wherein these bills you can review, you can see, you can authorize it for payment, and then once it is authorized, you can schedule the payment, and the payment actually goes from your QuickBooks file to the bank. So it's very interesting, which I say Zoho allows you to do banking directly from your accounting software, which means you don't need to go to bank and then manually do the payment. You can directly make the payment from your Zoho file. Please understand this. Like if you are paying to a particular vendor, you can go into your Zoho books, make a payment to the vendor, and then you don't need to go back to your own bank account and do the payment again. It is, since it is authorized and synced with your bank, as soon as you hit payment from here, it is as good as entering the transaction directly from the banking software. Again, as I said, time tracking is very important. You can allow your customers, your projects, your people who are working on any particular customer, you can track that time share. You can bill according to that. You can track the time spent on projects and effortlessly invoice your customers for work, and they can easily see how much time you have spent on that particular project. So it manages not just the timesheet of each and every person working. It also takes the process of evaluating that, converting that into an invoice, and sending it to the customers. And when they make the payment, they can directly make the payment, and the books automatically record that payment, receives the payment from the bank, and show it to you as a confirmation and reconciles your bank. So if you see in a very macro level, everything is happening seamlessly. If you do the settings right, if you configure things and attach that with a bunch of configurations, everything is happening automatically. You just need to review and make sure everything is going fine. That's all from my side on Zoho Books and QuickBooks. And as I said, if I want to summarize the whole thing, I will say cloud accounting is happening today, and it is the future. Gone are the days where people are dependent on just doing manual book entry. Today, the day is the day when we are shifting not only from recording historical data to converting that into trends and analysis, and also talking about future forecasting. So as I said, the digital accountant needs to change from hindsight to insight, and from insight to foresight. Thank you all so much. Stay tuned. In our next session, we are going to talk about digital reputations, of how important it is to have your own online presence, and how you can create your reputations and get clients online. Thank you.